Welcome to Creator Upload, your creator economy podcast. I'm Lauren Schnipper.
And I'm Joshua Cohen. Lauren,
yes.
How often have you been tuning into the World Cup?
In so much to know that U.S., as of this recording, won last night, but there was they kicked some guy out that on our team that was like not, it was, my parents were discussing it, it was not a thing. Anyway, yes, I know they won. Questions?
Yeah, Folarin Balogun got a red card that was kind of controversial.
Yeah,
Not
apparently
really,
it was
kind
like
of controversial.
It was like mistake. He like tripped the guy accidentally, right?
Yeah, but you got to be careful.
Evidently,
Ankles. Soccer players need them.
And knees too, apparently. Yeah, no. So I know some things. I think we're all going to get more into it because they're kind of winning right now, right?
They are winning. This is the first time they've ever won a knockout stage match. To be fair, though, to history, this is the first year that the knockout stage has consisted of 32 teams instead of 16 teams.
Okay.
So that's put them exactly in the position they were before in terms of remaining teams in the tournament. If they win this next game against Belgium, then they'll be rocking it.
To quote Josh, I don't think anybody tuned in for our sports analysis, but so what's your point?
So you know who else is watching World Cup games?
Tell me.
Like so many people in Brazil.
Okay.
And I'm bringing this up because Kaze TV, who is this Brazilian creator, got the rights to stream the Brazilian World Cup matches in Brazil.
Oh, wow.
So many people have been tuning in that he has consistently, for each consecutive game, broken his previous record for most live concurrent viewers on a YouTube live stream.
How did he get the rights? It must be in addition to like a network. Like, I don't understand.
Lauren, that's a great question. So Kaze TV secured the broadcasting rights directly from global sports federations and leagues through Live Mode. So Live Mode is this very big Brazilian sports marketing and media rights agency. Basically, they worked with Kaze and they said, yo, FIFA, we're going to distribute the World Cup matches wherever we normally distribute them. But also, have you heard about this thing called YouTube? Have you heard that all the young kids are on the YouTube?
Sure.
And we need to get where the young kids are. So we want to also distribute these on Kaze TV's YouTube channel, which has tens of millions of subscribers. And so what's happened is just this like onslaught of viewership. So in Brazil's first game of this 2026 FIFA World Cup versus Morocco, Kaze TV peaked at 12.4 million peak concurrent viewers. Then the second game, Brazil versus Haiti, 16.2 million. Third game, Brazil's 3-0 victory over Scotland, 18.3 million peak concurrent viewers. And then in Brazil's match versus Japan, 21 million peak concurrent viewers. YouTube's NFL broadcast, when they had their game, they actually had a game from Brazil last year that they played.
Right.
That peaked at 19.7 million concurrent viewers.
So this would arguably be like a little bit more.
A little bit more. And this blows away any peak concurrent viewership record in YouTube or on Twitch by far.
And what do we've been having discussions about, like, is a viewer the same on TV versus this? Like, when you say peak concurrent, like, I know what that means, but like, how long are those 21 million holding on to that? Like, is that a second? Is that a minute? 21 million at how long?
So peak concurrent viewers mean at any time during the broadcast, this is the moment in time where the most amount of people were watching. So at this one moment in time, there were 21.1 million people watching this program.
So that could arguably be for like a second?
Sure, it could arguably be for a second, but if you want to estimate and average it out, well, if we did have access to Kaze TV's YouTube studio, I think what we'd see is an estimation of average viewers of the live stream about 13 to 15 million. So that means at any minute during the live stream, there were at least 13 to 15 million people watching.
This is just based on your institutional knowledge of the situation. Like,
Correct.
I just want to know. I mean, people are going to ask. They want to poke holes, Joshua. So I just want to understand where you're getting this.
Well, I think you can say average generally sits at 60 to 70% of peak.
Okay.
And so that's what that equals out to.
Okay, great. Okay, I just wanted to
You can
verify.
compare that to the NBA Finals, which got a Nielsen rating, which we talked about last week, Lauren, of a 17 million.
Yep.
So this is on par with that for sure. This is the one time a creator event, which is arguably a mainstream event that's distributed through a creator channel, but still that you could compare kind of apples to apples to, like, this is getting television viewership.
I want to talk a little bit about the deal that's fascinating to me. So World Cup effectively made a deal with, like, call it a legitimate old school kind of media organization as a part of that sort of package. That organization was like, cool, we're going to distribute everywhere, including also on a creator channel that they made a deal with.
100%.
And I think that's genius. That's the piece of this that I think is genius. And this is what I talked with a lot of sort of the clients I work with in the traditional media space. It's like, it's all one big bucket of sort of entertainment And you just have to have all the spokes on the wheel, and a creator distribution channel, for example, is one of those spokes on the wheel. It doesn't mean you shouldn't do the other ones, but like not having that clearly one can see would be a big miss.
And Lauren, Kaze's not the only one. So iShowSpeed, the incredibly popular streamer, has also partnered directly with FIFA and presumably YouTube, where he can also co-stream matches that are distributed on his channel. So he's a huge Ronaldo fan. So during Portugal's opening match in the World Cup, he had 9.2 million peak concurrent viewers on his live stream.
That's a lot.
It's a lot, which just is a lot.
That's a lot.
And shows you how, especially for these big global events, these traditional entities are like more than willing to play with creators in this ecosystem in order to drive up viewership and excitement and increase their distribution and just like general coverage of the surface area of the entertainment ecosystem.
Okay, Josh, anything else happening as it relates to creators in the World Cup?
Lauren, I'm so glad you asked. So Unilever, who's the official personal care sponsor of this year's World Cup, said that they have their largest activation ever with over 50,000 creators in 120 markets and across 35 brands, including Dove, Rexona, Axe. And they've also distributed 180 limited edition products across the tournament's 39-day run. Catherine Fernandez, who is an executive at Dove, told DigiDay, quote, "This is a Super Bowl every 2 days," end quote. There's 48 teams in the World Cup, 104 matches, roughly 10 million people attending, an expected global audience of 6 billion people. And Unilever is capitalizing on this. And I think why it's worth mentioning is, one, Unilever CEO Fernando Fernandez said last year famously he wants to commit 50% of the marketing budget across all his brands to influencer marketing and creators. And this, I think, is the first kind of global event that's happened since then that really shows that they're invested in this, where like it's not that creators are secondary or tertiary to whatever other marketing initiatives they have. This is like the core, and then everything else is built around it.
I don't want to breeze by the sort of point that you made around this is like a Super Bowl every day.
Yeah.
That's huge because, as you know, one knows that like, you know, live sports is like the last sort of remaining, you know, kind of opportunity for brands to really capture, you know, a ton of a mass amount of people at once, because obviously you have to tune in and it's live. And so Super Bowl, by that very fact, is, you know, a very kind of, it's one of the most expensive events. And so live sports generally is, you know, that's where you can, like, networks, et cetera, can command the most sort of dollars. And the fact that that's happening like every day right now is crazy. And also just like, I know the World Cup hasn't happened in North America in a long time, but like crazy how like people care now in this country. Like nobody cared about soccer. Like, you know, I mean, I feel like credit to David Beckham, by the way, who like kind of brought it over to Miami and then like made it bigger. I'm serious. Like it's
he was in LA first too.
Yeah. But I'm just saying he brought it to the States and like, and I'm just like, it's sort of, I think the whole thing is fascinating. Like a Super Bowl basically every day is insane if you think about the amount of people, eyeballs, advertising dollars, and then just the amount of excitement around football is really just kind of crazy.
And one other thing to note here, Lauren, is it's worth saying that FIFA is not like totally generous and they're not giving away these rights to every single creator that wants them. XQC, who's this incredibly popular streamer, his real name is Felix Lengel. He showed 5 seconds of a FIFA match on his live stream and then got a takedown notice and a ban from Twitch because he showed copyrighted content on his stream.
It's unbelievable what Twitch will ban people for and what they won't ban people for. People can read into that statement however they like, which you can imagine how I feel about that.
But you could, like, so 4 days earlier, FIFA, Fox, and YouTube gave iShowSpeed the official match feed, and then Twitch gives Felix a ban because FIFA said, yo, we don't want him showing our content. It's fascinating. I think it also shows like these people are very still protective of their rights. Yeah. And they want to maintain.
But Twitch didn't have to ban him. I understand taking down the content, giving him this, but banning him? They banned him? So he's like, literally.
Twitch bans people all the time. So they ban them for like a period of time and then they can't.
A period of time. Okay. Yeah. When you say ban, I was like, forever? I was like,
yeah, crazy. Twitch bans have a different context.
Okay, sorry, I'm not a Twitch head. Twitch head? That's not a thing, probably. All right, a couple platform updates. We haven't really kind of talked about platforms in a while, so I think this is sort of bears, discussing. So Adam Mosseri, head of Instagram, announced something called Your Algorithm, which is a feature that employs AI to bring more user choice to Instagram Reels feed to make your algorithm feel, quote, more present and useful. Instagram's adding quick signals to the Reels user experience. So they take the form of buttons that name content categories like sports, studying hacks, and day in the life. And when you swipe down on the Instagram feed, users can access the signals and choose the ones they like to see more often. It's interesting to note that, like, while this is like a feature that I think people have wanted for a while, Adam Asori said, over time, we want your algorithm to feel like something you talk to rather than something that happens to you. Okay, I see what you're doing there. But what is very interesting to me is that sources are sort of saying, experts are saying that it was really kind of things like bans in Europe and all sorts of stuff that government forces that are sort of requiring platforms to include opt-out clauses for users who don't want any personalized recommendations. And obviously, there's all these lawsuits out there saying that platforms are knowingly using their algorithm to get users addicted to scrolling. So this is the type of stuff, we've been talking about this for a long time, that because of all these lawsuits and like things are going to have to change on the platform. So this is an example of that. To me, it's also like a little bit frightening because it's like more and more people are going to be in their own bubble because they're just going to see what they want. And that would be fine if people were consuming content and like things like news elsewhere, but they're not. So that's what's like a little troubling about this to me, because it's just going to be more and more of like just exactly your opinion, just echo chamber, all that kind of stuff. That's where my cynical brain goes.
Lauren, that's a great take. I wonder how much more of an echo chamber your Instagram algorithm could be. I guess if you can tweak it to the degree that they seem to be saying you can,
well,
it could be.
It's interesting because like right now my feed is and I'm off the app except like on the weekends because I just try to protect my sanity, and it actually is helping a little bit. But when I go on, my feed is Off Campus, which is the most amazing show ever on Prime Video, starring like the most beautiful people on the planet, and like home decorating. Like those are my two things. And it's like, it changes so quickly as to what I want. And and it's like 100% all of that. That's a little bit much. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't mind a few other categories that I could like be like, okay, that's my off-campus feed, but I'd like my decorating feed and I'd like my whatever. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's too intense right now in some ways. So maybe this will be better because you get different categories. I don't know, man. Who knows?
I have to also think too, if they show any decline in like average view duration or average session duration or the amount of time people are spending on the app, they're gonna figure out a way to like make this so people actually consume more Instagram whenever possible.
Speaking about platforms and Meta, I got a ping the other day on my WhatsApp that said, we're going to start integrating usernames. Secure yours now. So I went to secure mine, which is the same one as my Instagram one, which I've had for 100 years. And they said it wasn't available. I have a lot of questions.
Someone's squatting on your WhatsApp
Schnipstar?
username?
Schnipstar? Somebody's already taken Schnipstar. I'm wondering if like it's more like I need to log in from my Instagram via WhatsApp and like it's already taken because it's on my Instagram. Like I would imagine because it's like they're all connected. So I have a lot of questions. I'll be following up Meta. But yeah, so rather than using phone numbers as an in-app ID, WhatsApp users can now reserve a username that includes an @sign. The change will make WhatsApp URLs resemble usernames like platforms like YouTube and TikTok, where @signs is the typical starting point at handles. On the Meta blog post, it says, sometimes you just want to chat without handing over your digits. Oh, gross. I cannot believe they just said that. That's why we're introducing usernames for WhatsApp. Starting this week, you can reserve a username to use later this year when we launch this feature.
Oh, that's interesting. So someone can message you on WhatsApp through a username and not have access to your phone number?
Yeah, I mean, it's effectively like how people slide into people's DMs. It's the same thing. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
I totally get it. I think
Get it.
there's
But I'm also just like at this point, like, what's the difference? I don't know.
totally. I think Meta's evolving with the times where they have a remote control. You know how you used to go to your friend's house and then they had a different remote control and it was like slightly off, but it still controlled the TV, but you didn't know how to work it?
Sure.
It's like that, where
So we
like
all need to like be the same thing, and then
Yeah.
so God forbid our brains have to like figure something out. Okay, cool. Because that was
So all these other social platforms, all these
that was
other
this
social
problem that needed to be
platforms
solved. Go on.
work on this handle basis, and WhatsApp is the only one that doesn't.
I
And
know,
so
because it's not historically been a social media platform. And also, like, why does Facebook want to get into the business of like adding more social media platforms to their arsenal when like the whole thing is like social media platforms are being like targeted and sued all the time? I feel like WhatsApp is I don't know. It's the get out of jail free card. Not
Well, I
really.
think if you look at any of other of Meta's platforms, one thing that they want to try to dominate as much as possible is text and DMs. And because that's where they lose market share to places like Snap, especially among younger audiences. And
Yes.
they can capture more of it with WhatsApp and make it a more like fun
But
experience
I
in some
want to talk about
capacity.
that for a minute. This notion that like a username is like somehow less sort of violation of sort of privacy violation. It's less private than a phone number. I was at a this is a few years ago, and I was at this like women in media kind of a thing in LA, and we're talking about kids and this and that. And this one mom sort of raised her hands like, my kids, they really get it. They really care about privacy. Like they won't even give away their phone numbers. They only message people on Snap. And somebody had to raise their hand and be like, yeah, so messaging on a social media platform where they're like controlling all of your data and reading all of your messages is not more private than giving out your private phone number. Like it was just
Correct.
like this notion that that's somehow like more private. And oh, I like in like the idea of giving my phone number away, like, ew, like I would never, that's my secret. What I like, well, the problem isn't the fact that the kids were doing it. The problem is that they had this sort of twisted notion that that was a more private experience, which it could not be less private.
Does feel very like Gen X millennial coded.
Yes. Yes. And it was just very, but his mom was sort of like trying to be like, oh, my kids are just, they just get it. And we were just like, you and your kids do not get it.
Right. Totally.
So I feel like this is like the similar thing where it's like, oh, a username, like it's better than it's like, it's not better.
And I think this could signal just maybe WhatsApp is going to get more into the social media ecosystem.
This is what I was saying, which is like, why would Meta want to do that when like they're being sued? I'm left right. I don't know. It's just interesting. Josh, you love him, you know him. We've got Sam Cattell from Tube Filter coming on to talk about the latest and greatest. I love Sam's takes.
Yes, Lauren, Tube Filter's very own Sam Cattell is joining the program. He's going to tell us all about Mr. Rogers and what he's up to on the internet these days.
Ooh.
Sam Cattell, welcome to the program.
Hi, Lauren. Hi, Josh. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you for acknowledging me first. Go on.
We saw you come in. You took off your jacket. You put on your cardigan. You took off your outdoor shoes, rolled into some slippers. Tell us what Mr. Rogers is up to on YouTube and the internet.
Well, Fred Rogers died in 2001, but Fred Rogers Productions, the company that produced his show out of Pittsburgh for more than 3 decades, is now bringing his legacy onto YouTube. So this is a brand new channel. Fred Rogers Productions did it in partnership with Little Dot, a company that we know well around these parts. And they've brought tons of content to YouTube. So we've got classic episodes, such as the famous Officer Clemens washing his feet with Mr. Rogers episode. That's one of the ones that's available in full on YouTube. We've got compilations of some of his best aphorisms and affirmations. And then we, in the future, will have perhaps some new original content mixed in. Obviously not featuring the man himself, but carrying on his legacy of kindness and compassion.
So it's all full episodes, or is it like, are there shorts? Like what's the makeup here?
They
What are we
do
dealing
have
with?
some shorts as well. So, they've taken some clips of Mr. Rogers talking about the importance of feeling your emotions, of treating each other with kindness.
Sure.
And they're just dropping those into your shorts feed, just sprinkling them in so that in between all the AI slop and all of the frenetic, fast-paced content, you'll be able to slow down with Mr. Rogers and just get like a nice cool breeze to the face, which we could all use during this heat wave in the US.
And so Little Dot Studios, the company that's doing this, is known for taking kind of like pre-existing IP or celebrities and putting their programming on YouTube in these channels that end up doing really well. But so why was like now the time to do it? What kind of environment are they going into here?
Well, I think it's interesting. Just a few weeks before this channel launched, I saw this video from a creator named Asa Parks. The video is titled, "Mr. Beast is what Fred Rogers warned us about." And Asa kind of talks about how when you think about Mr. Beast, he maximizes the thumbnail. He maximizes the first 10 seconds of his videos. Everything is about now, about instant gratification, about fast pace, about not counting on anyone to have an attention span longer than 10 minutes. And of course, Mr. Rogers, if you remember watching him growing up, it's the antithesis of all that.
It's the polar opposite. It could not. It's like a massage when you're watching it. It's so slow.
And I remember when I was a little kid watching it, I thought it was a little too slow paced for me, but that's kind of the point, is that Mr. Rogers forces kids to slow down, to take their time, and to sit with their feelings.
Would you ever watch like a movie like from like before like 10 years ago with kids and the credits happen at the beginning? I get like anxious because I'm like, my kids aren't going to be able to sit through these credits like at the beginning of a movie because like now it's like if you watch new movies today, there's no credits at the beginning. It's literally like the movie starts, then they may do a little title card and then they go. Like there's no expectation to like sit there and wait at all. And I'm always like, oh God, I want them to watch this movie. I hope they don't freak out that there's like 5 minutes or like not even like 2 minutes of credits ahead of time.
I think that explains what the strategy is here. Instead of saying we're going to make things as fast and hyperkinetic as possible because that's what kids respond best to, we're going to bring in what we think is the best approach for raising children into adults. And this comes from Fred Rogers, who was himself well-versed in child psychology and early childhood education. Fred Rogers Production and Little Dot, they're trying to see, do those tenets and principles that he learned that informed his show, will they work on a platform like YouTube Shorts, as loud as it is?
That's really interesting. I wonder if the shows are going to do well and if the videos are going to do well. And I imagine the people who are editing these compilations together and putting a lot of this material together, especially the shorts, have to kind of like break their brain a little bit and not do everything that they've been training to do to appease the algorithm in the last
I was going to say, can we just
plus?
like zoom out for a minute and recognize that the reason that yes, kids, respond more to like fast paced, better to fast paced. But the reason is these algorithms and this optimization for ad supported content. And you got to get people to stay so they stay for the ad. And so how you get them to stay is you got to get them hooked right away and you lose people at the first second. So it's optimizing for an algorithm that forced this kind of, video consumption, video editing behavior. And so if you're going to have videos on there that aren't going to optimize for that, to Josh's point, is it going to work? Like, how do the editors even do that? But I'm also wondering if, because this is sort of the antithesis of all the content that's on the platform, that maybe it like shines through because it's so different. You know what I mean? Like people like, whoa, I've never had to sit there for a minute. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. In Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood's normal milieu on public television, not really an interruptive ad format. You get brought to you by viewers like you, the Carnegie Foundation, yada yada, and then it's off to the show, and you just watch it all the way through. So a very, very different attention economy that the show is traditionally broadcast in. I think to answer your question, Lauren, we're seeing some of the biggest kids producers on YouTube, the people and companies that have found the best approach within this algorithmic economy. They're starting to move in this other direction too, towards the old school Mr. Rogers style approach. I mean, we just saw Moonbug, the company behind CoComelon and a lot of other big IP for kids on YouTube. They partnered with UCLA to set a new framework and new principles guiding their videos for kids to ensure that they have enough educational rigor and merit. So perhaps because of pressure from parents, from governments, YouTube is trying to move towards something that's not just maximizing the algorithm for profit. And there's questions
I don't know
about
if YouTube is moving towards that, but it sounds
sorry,
like
yes,
content.
yes, sorry, excuse me.
Publishers are trying
the
to.
studios,
Yes.
creators, companies
Yeah.
that are
Yeah.
Big within this ecosystem are moving in that direction. But
Yeah.
there's these court cases that have been happening, where platforms were found liable for using their algorithms to get people addicted.
Yep.
And there's going to
There's
be
also like
more
a massive
cases.
movement with YouTube in schools and how this is like really detrimental to kids and there's too much YouTube in schools. It's you can imagine that I'm deep in the weeds on that. So it's very
yes.
interesting what's happening there.
And I think this shift towards lots of these publishers saying, hey, we should do stuff that feels a little bit more educational and is not just tied to algorithmic view counts is one, because maybe they're sobering up and they're realizing this isn't the best thing for our children. And two, the format with which children are now consuming this programming has shifted more to televisions. So it actually gives them a little bit more of an opportunity to let content breathe than it did before. I mean,
Yeah.
my kids are fast on a remote when watching YouTube TV. They will exit out of the video, but still not as fast as they would if they were watching it on a tablet or a computer.
And with that shift to TV, Josh, we're actually seeing a lot of the kids' programming favorites from our day being revived. So we have Reading Rainbow coming back. That's one high-profile example. The librarian Michael Threets, who has a large TikTok following, is replacing LeVar Burton as the host of that. And they're trying to see if that kind of show, which captivated us in the 90s, whether it can still reach kids on TV screens in the 2020s.
I, for one, am excited to see how this evolves, if these are going to be showing up in my algorithm and my kids' algorithm, and if people watch. I hope they do.
Even if people don't watch, we can always watch the Mr. Rogers Epic Rap Battles of History episode instead.
I don't think there's a finer point you could put on it.
Sam, thank you so much for coming on. It's always a blast to have you on Creator Upload. You can find Sam and his writings at TubeFilter at tubefilter.com. And to you, Sam, and just everyone out there listening, I want you all to know I love you just the way you are.
Just the way you are.
We love you just the way you are.
Thank you so much, Sam. Always a pledge. Joshua, I think we did it. I got some fireworks to buy. I got some gross Americana desserts to make. Are you getting service? These like disgusting, like the other day at my brother-in-law and I have a bit where we just send each other like the grossest food videos on YouTube. Like, when I say gross, I mean it's like Devour Power. Shout out to Devour Power, a YouTube channel, which is like, go to like Stocky's Diner in Staten Island. It's like, you take 4 patties with cheese and mozzarella sticks and onion rings, barbecue sauce and I mean, literally, this is what it is. It's disgusting. And so yesterday he sent me this dessert that was like M&M in a bundt pan. It was like M&M's biscuit, like dough, and then like this like sugar glaze situation, and it baked it and you turn it over, and then it's like sort of red, white, and blue on the top. But it was disgusting. I gotta go make one right now.
You know, Lauren, these have been around forever in New Jersey, especially around Rutgers. They call them fat sandwiches.
Oh, those kind of sandwiches. Yeah, just disgusting.
Yeah, you used to go down and get hoagies or like subs, whatever you want to call them.
Hoagies, yeah.
With French fries, pepperoni, tomato sauce, mozzarella cheese, like whatever you want.
Like
on them.
literally mozz sticks. I mean, and like the one yesterday, I'm not joking. It was 4 smash burgers with cheese on it, a huge like square mozzarella stick. They were like fried like raviolis on it. And then there was a layer of ranch and like a layer of barbecue sauce and then like a butt. Like it was like.
Let me tell you where you don't get those. Anywhere outside of America.
No. God bless America.
250 years and counting.
God willing, we last longer. All right, Josh. I think we did it.
Lauren, I think we did. I'll see you live streaming World Cup coverage, but you're actually just watching some like old school Mr. Rogers.
Oh my God, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
It is. If not there, next week on Creator Upload. Today's show was produced by Lauren Schnipper, Joshua Cohen, that's me, and Adam Connor. It's edited by Adam Connor too. Original music is by London Bridge. You can check him out on Instagram at London Bridge Music. Make sure you subscribe to Creator Upload right here on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts as well, Spotify, or wherever you're listening. While you're there, give us a rating and leave us a comment. If you want to talk, hit us up at info@creatorupload.com. If you like our show, recommend it to a friend. If you love it, just tell everyone. Thanks for listening to Creator Upload, and we will be back next week.